Welcome back to another 5 Minutes to a Better Mix. This is Graham from therecordingrevolution.com, and we're looking at 31 mixing tips in 31 days. And again, I'm starting at the very beginning because how you start your mix really determines how your mix will end up. And one thing I really try to do is steal from other pro mixes before I get going. What do I mean? I mean stealing ideas, very specific ideas. So what I like to do is before I begin a mixing project, whether it's just one song for a client, whether it's a whole album, whether it's my own music, I try to find a track or an album or a sound or an artist that I'm listening to or that I think lines up with the vibe or the genre or is a completely different genre, but I really like the production decisions. I like the tones. I like the choices. And I bring that into my session and I listen to it over and over again and I try to write down 2 or 3 things in particular that I'm going to try to emulate in the mix just to give me some focus, just to give me some direction. And it's a fun game and it helps you develop your tastes also about what it is about other mixes you like. So here's a good example. Here's the album I'm working on, and I really happen to like the recent Soundgarden record, King Animal. Sounds amazing. The tones they got in the studio were great, and Joe Barresi did an amazing job mixing it. And so I pulled it into the session, and I'll listen to it a lot while I'm mixing to get a vibe. But here are very specific things I'm listening for. I'm going to play you a little bit of it, and I'll tell you the 3 things that I'm trying to get from this mix and replicate in my own mixes. All right, super cool tune. I'm a huge Soundgarden fan. So anyway, I love the music, but I love the production on this record in particular. So here's what I'm listening for. I listen to this and I go, I love the drum tone. I think that it's punchy, but it's not like overly modern and aggressive. It's still warm and natural. And in particular, I think the panning decisions on the drums are very cool. A little narrower than usual. The toms in a lot of the record, and especially in parts of this song, they don't fly out super wide. They have a mono overhead going for a lot of it in the verses, so it's very sort of up the middle drum sound as opposed to super wide drum sound. And for some reason, I've been digging that, so I'm going to do that on my track here. I think the vocals, they have some really cool mono delays. I like the delays that are spiraling off in the background that aren't spinning back and forth. They're just in one fixed location, and you kind of pick up on that in the chorus. I really like that, so I want to potentially mimic that in my mix, a very specific thing here. And then also on the guitars, I love the tones of the guitars. I love how they're not too harsh, but here's a specific thing I like. I like how they put some of the lead guitar parts straight up the middle while the vocals are in play. So it's not even covering up the vocal. It's very typical to have the guitars out wide sometimes, and then if the vocal stops singing, bring up a guitar in the middle. But they've got a lead part right at the middle while he's singing in the hook of the chorus, and it really is a nice flavor and a nice touch, and I liked it. So I'm going to replicate that with some of my panning decisions on this mix. So that's what I like to do very typically, is listen to and write down very specific things in a pro mix that I want to steal and implement in my track. And again, it gives me focus, it gives me something to work on and something to try. And then after the mix is done, I may have liked it, may not have liked it. It won't ever sound exactly like this track because the source material is totally different. But it's a process of learning, a process of developing tastes, and again, giving you some frameworks, some specific notes that are written down of what to do while you mix, and that will help you get going. So think about it on your next mix. Steal from a pro mix, write those things down, and get to work. I hope that helps. Get ready for tomorrow. I've got some good stuff coming. I'm really pumped about the rest of the month. Thanks for tuning in.